Good morning and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is our weekly news roundup where we bring you the news of the week and give you our interpretations of them. I'm your host, Ted Shull, and I'm here with my co host, Joshua Burgman.
Morning, Gators.
We just want to say good morning and welcome back to school. And we're going to start with UHD. What's going on, Joshua?
Well, this week in our first week back, actually, yeah, welcome back to school. It feels actually nice. It's bittersweet to be back. So,
Yes, it is.
anyways, we found out this week from the SGA General Assembly that took place on the 23rd, on Friday, that UHD is trying to build on its presence here in Houston. And by doing that, we are going to kind of have like a Gatorville type area here in like around the school. First, they're going to do signs on 40. Is it 45 or I-10? I-10, right?
I-10.
Yeah, I-10. Basically saying that we have an exit now, which is nice because everyone doesn't know where UHD is. So
And all of the other major schools in town have signs.
actually, yeah, that's true. Just like the one near Cullen for University of Houston. So
TSU, Rice.
TSU
Yes.
does have a sign.
And this is not a new struggle. This is something that the school has been fighting for a while.
That's crazy though. Why is that a struggle? It's a sign.
TxDOT, the Texas Department of Transportation, did not think that UHD merited a sign because they have the downtown destination sign,
Right.
and they thought that was enough. Actually, we got this approved through a backdoor political process, and it was a Gator alum. Shout out to Councilman Ed Gonzalez.
Yay. Well, I mean that's good though, but I don't understand why that was such a big deal because we are actually a major metropolitan school. We are the second largest university in the city, right outside of the central campus
We
at
are.
UH. So that's kind of baffling that, to be the second largest university in the city, we don't merit that type of, people sleep on UHD. They really need to stop doing that.
Yeah,
They
do.
sleep on us, and that's crazy. So, but in addition to the signs, they're going to have banners, right, on all of the light poles and everything. And I think it was a 6-mile radius.
No, 6-block
6
radius.
blocks,
They're
okay.
going to put up banners saying that you are in UHD territory. Let people know that they're in Gator country, and I think that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, in the middle of downtown. It's gonna build with our welcome center and our new construction and all
Right.
of this stuff. It's exciting for the school.
That is exciting because, like you said, like it's Gatorville. That's our school pride right there. Like I'm
Yeah.
very proud of this school. So it would be nice to see the presence increase a downtown like that. That would be really nice.
I had one of my professors in the class that I just started said that UHD, we do have a sister campus, and it is called the quote-unquote central campus, but he said this is where it's at. This
Oh,
school is really the cutting edge.
I mean, it's a downtown school in
Yeah.
a major metropolitan U.S. city. So I don't understand why people wouldn't believe that we are, on the same level, if not higher, than UH Central Campus. But I mean, hey, we're getting there. We're gaining, we're building, and we're increasing our presence. And soon we're gonna get there. Isn't there some? I heard this. I hate to bring this up because I don't know all the facts about it, but did they say something about? I think Jason was saying that about a gator statue.
Yes,
Yeah,
they are planning on building a Gator statue.
Oh, okay,
which would
that's
be
good
pretty
though.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
the Cougars have 2 statues.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Do you know where they're planning on putting it?
I
Or-
believe it'll be on the south deck area.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
I wonder what they're gonna
Somewhere, because they have that big open space, it'll be somewhere that's highly visible.
yeah, that's nice. They should have some kind of ceremony for that when they.
Oh, they will.
I'm sure they will. Yeah, we'll be
It's
there.
Just in the planning stages now.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I hope that comes to fruition while I'm
Sure.
here. So
We have another new resource that we found out yesterday through the student government, through John Locke, the student body president. UHD is starting a student pantry, which is going to be run by the Veterans Affairs Association.
I think this is a really good thing.
It is.
I think this is a really good thing.
Well, as we know, with Christopher Sharp and how he started out at this school,
Right.
and we do have some students who are homeless,
Right.
and who are precariously housed, who have to worry about their next meal,
Right.
where their next meal is coming from. And this initiative is not going to be free, but it's going to offer low-cost food items for anyone who's a student.
Well, yeah, and that's a good thing. That kind of goes back to us being the school in this metropolitan city, because I take night classes here at UHD, and there are times when I leave class and it's like, okay, yeah, I am downtown, like hold my bag a little closer. So I mean, it's we do have a school in that type of environment. So to be able to help the students out in this way and be active in the community like that, this is a really good thing for UHD to do. So I'm really happy to see this. This coming up. This is sponsored by SGA, right? Or no, Veterans Affairs.
It's sponsored by Veterans Affairs, but SGA is going to play a role in it. And I agree. I especially like the fact that it's available to all students, because all students, whether working or not, can find themselves down on their luck at
right,
times.
Exactly.
And I think that's important for all students.
Yeah, that is a really good thing. That kind of... Actually, next week, next Thursday, there is the annual homeless count in Houston that SGA will actually be attending along with Dateline. Well, not along. Well, we will be going all together. Dateline will be covering it, and this is what happens every year. I believe it's every year, one day at the end of January, and I believe this is a nationwide process where, it is. In every city, they have one night where they go out and they count the homeless youth that are on the streets. Not only on the streets, though, I believe they do try to go into foster centers, homeless shelters, all kind of places, because youth that are homeless, like you said, are precariously housed, and so it's a number of places that they try to sleep, have a good night's sleep. So it's important to go to all of these places to make sure that we get a good count, like a good number of how many homeless youth are actually on the streets in the city of Houston, so that the appropriate amount of funds can be appropriated to kind of combat that issue of homelessness in youth. And I think the last time I checked, I believe it was 55% of homeless youth on the streets of Houston are LGBT youth, right?
Yes.
So this is a pretty big deal. So we're really excited to go out this Thursday. I believe it's January 29th at, I think it's like from 5:30 to 9:30 or something like that. It may go a little later than that. Of course, they're trying to go throughout all of Houston, or I believe it may be Harris County that they're doing. And that, that might take a while.
It's the city of Houston.
It's the entire city of Houston?
Yeah.
Okay. I do know there's a mandatory training that everyone must go to on Crosby Street. It's from 4 to 5. And then after that, all UHD students that are going to be associated with it are actually coming back to the school to meet up, so we can all go out together, which I think is a good thing.
So any UHD students who want to get involved, who would like to have community service on their resume, this is a great opportunity to help your community and make sure that the accurate aid is flowing into this city.
It really is
very vital.
It really is. Actually, if anyone does want to get involved, you can contact SGA, Nayalise at SGA.
Nayalise Paloma.
Paloma, yes, thank you. Her last name. She is coordinating the UHD effort to go out. Well, within SGA, but we've contacted her, and we're all trying to make this a UHD effort. So it'll be nice to have a strong show of support. So anyone who wants to get involved, they can they can contact her, or
Go
you can
to
always
go to SGA's Facebook page,
Right.
and she's on there.
Exactly.
John Locke, you can get in touch with him.
And so yeah, it would be a good thing to see a lot of people come out and support. So
Definitely.
More in Houston news. Sheila Jackson Lee just got this.
My former boss.
There you go. She just got this. It's like a promotion. She's the first woman, right, to be the chairperson of a cyber terrorist subcommittee within Congress, which is a huge accolade. It's a big deal.
It's a really big deal. She made history this week by becoming the first woman of either party to lead this prestigious. It's a subcommittee of the House Judiciary Committee. Its focus is crime, terrorism, and homeland security and investigations. It was created in 1813. And Lee is one of only 6 women to have served on the subcommittee. Another Houstonian woman, Barbara Jordan, was one of the other 5. So,
right. And we know Barbara Jordan was like a huge mentor, or someone that Sheila Jackson Lee really looked up to. So it's nice to see her continuing this type of legacy, and then to become the chairperson of the committee is that's just a huge accolade. It's really nice. So congratulations.
Yeah. It was nice to see her on the State of the Union. I saw her and Representative Al Green sitting near each other, and it was cool because as an intern for her, I got to meet Representative Al Green as well.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's cool, 2 people sitting in the State of the Union in the House chamber. I know 2 of them personally. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, that would be really nice. That would be really nice. So.
Well, you got to meet Sheila.
Oh yeah, I met her once. Yes. It was a visual for Michael Brown, I believe. I met her once. She was very nice. So but I was really happy to hear her accomplishment. I really love to see people do good things, and congratulations to her. I thought that was a really good thing. So
definitely,
congratulations to her. But speaking of the State of the Union, I did see her, but the only thing that I can remember from the State of the Union, like everyone else, everyone was talking about it 30 seconds after he said it. I was laughing uncontrollably in my room, and my sister was like, "What's going on?" Of course, when the president got,
it was an off-the-cuff remark too.
It was.
It was completely unscripted.
The thing about it, the thing about it though, is that he was so chill.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't said what he's done, but I'm sure everyone knows what we're talking about anyway. He was talking about his I guess his legacy, and he talks about how he has no other campaigns to run.
Well, after he said that, all of the Republicans clapped.
Yeah, and that was funny. I felt like he gave them their moment because he like turned his head and smirked. So it's like he caught the shade. Yeah. That's it. And if anyone doesn't know, that was some major shade like that they were throwing. But the good thing is he caught it and he threw it right back. Yeah, because he's like, because I know I won both of them. And it was just that was so funny because it was just.
What did he say? He said that because I won both of them. And that this was just a completely ad-lib remark that he made, shooting straight from the hip. And there was a comedian this morning on the way in I was listening to. She said that the reason Obama is president is because it would have taken Hillary until 3 a.m. to come up with that remark.
But you know what? He is a good orator, though. So and he's like quick with it. So he came, but he did come back on them like really, really quick with that. But I feel like he anticipates it now because at every single State of the Union that he's had, something has happened that has been considered a little disrespectful from GOP members of the House and the Senate, and I believe that he just expects things like that now. So he was ready for them. Ready for them.
Let's just set the stage here. He was in a hostile environment, facing a new Congress, where his party is in the minority. Republicans vowing to fight him on key pieces of his legacy.
But honestly, but honestly, when has he not been in a hostile environment at a State of the Union? I mean, was it the first one where one of the senators was like, "You lie," and he yelled out? So I mean, come on,
But his swagger at this one was unique, and this comedian was speculating that he was so chill at this State of the Union that next year he might just reach back to Boehner and get a cigarette from him and light it up at the podium, or better, he had a Cuban cigar now that he can.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
It's funny though, to me that everyone talks about his swagger. People talk about that with him all the time. I've never heard that word used in association with any other president ever, even Bill Clinton. And according to most people, he was the blackest president we've ever had before Obama. So, but I've never, him and his entire family, like they do have that swag. And he had it when he was up at the podium. Yeah. And he just was like, yeah, I got you. Yeah. Like, okay. All right, let me throw that right back at you. So, that was a nice treat, I believe, for people who got to watch the State of the Union, because it was funny. You really can't. You kind of had to give him his props. It even looked like to me that if you play close attention to John Boehner in the background, I never know how to say his name, but if you pay attention to him, it looks like he wanted to laugh.
Yeah, he did. He was holding back a laugh.
Yeah, you have to give him his props though. It was It was a good comeback.
A lot of people were also discussing the fact that Boehner did not clap when the president, no Republicans clapped when the president said that it's time for women to receive the same pay as men.
I don't understand why people are shocked with that though. This is the type of pattern that they've exhibited, for a very long time. So it's like, why are you shocked?
Their central argument, it was shocking at the moment because you would think that in our 21st century society that would be the goal.
Right.
But Republicans have a fundamental disagreement about government intervention in private business.
Right.
And that's their main beef with the president.
Republicans have a fundamental disagreement on a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
That they don't like. Starting...
Like climate change.
Climate change. That's a big one.
This 2014, this week was in 2014, was named the hottest year in history.
Right. And it's funny. So they just had a vote in the Senate, where I think the vote was 96-1, where the Senate agreed that climate change is not a hoax. Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy because we talk about being in 2015, and it's 2015, and you're just now coming to the conclusion that climate change is not a hoax. I don't understand sometimes.
On an official level. I mean, this is the United States Senate we're talking about.
Exactly. And I get personal interests. I get lobbyists and things like that in the political arena. I understand that. But this is, when we talk about science, this is science. This is, that's what it is. So it's, I don't understand how we are just now saying officially, climate change isn't a hoax. Okay. Thank you for telling us that. We appreciate it. Now what?
Most Americans have known and readily accepted. Like you said, the interest groups, one of the major problems is that people that don't want to admit to climate change are cherry-picking the science. They cherry-pick the numbers to suit their purpose instead of looking at the entire data set.
The problem with that is that you're cherry-picking something that is that ultimately affects the entire world. Like it's
Oh, yeah.
it's crazy to conceptualize that, because once you actually understand that, and how, or if you actually look at what's going on today in the world as far as climate change, the seas. I was watching Bill Maher the other night, and he brought up an article last week that was published, talking about how the seas are, at risk for mass extinction.
Yeah.
And the guy's rebuttal that he introduced the article to, he said, well, that's an article from like 75 or something like that. So they've been saying that we've been extincting. Okay, well, you can see the numbers though. Like, numbers don't lie. So I don't understand why there's a problem seeing what is actually going on. And
It's denial, people
How is
not
that
wanting
denial?
to see.
Is it denial or money? Is it denial or money?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I think the people that are in the know, it's money, and the people that are easily susceptible to these weak scientific arguments,
Right.
it's more about denial.
But see, I believe that's where you have this disconnect when it comes to members of Congress and people that are like, in the know, or who are influential people.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, for us, it's like we're thinking about the future. You have kids. They're going to inherit this mess. And it's like, are you not really caring about what's going to be happening to the world or in the world in the next 15, 20 years, that, like you're so blinded by money or personal interest or gain or whatever it is, that you are blinded by the facts, and the fact that, things are going down as opposed to climate change as opposed to up. It's getting worse and not better.
It is.
I would even be happy if it was stagnant. If climate change just if it just stopped changing. We just stayed where we were now.
Well, I took a international political economy class last semester, and there was a guy who was a brilliant scientist for IBM, and he actually said he had a solution to climate change.
Which was?
But it's sending up a gas into the atmosphere. It would rebuild our ozone.
What? That sounds far-fetched.
No, he literally has an easy way to do it. It's basically running a garden hose up to the stratosphere and sending out a small amount of gas. It's not a large amount. And I watched the whole video. Our professor recommended this video for us.
Right.
But the environmental groups themselves are fighting against these kind of solutions, because they feel like the environmental movement, some factions of it, feels like humanity should pay for what it did to the earth.
Right.
That we should be punished. That there shouldn't be an easy fix. And that's a problem.
Well, that would be interesting if that would, if that was actually possible. I would love to see that happen.
Yeah.
I'm sure with a lot of other people.
Yeah. Talking about the world, this was a very interesting week for anyone who's interested in international relations, myself included.
Yeah. Especially the Arabian Peninsula.
Yes. We had Saudi King Abdullah.
Yeah. And then Yemen, it's like, where do you start?
Yeah, exactly. ISIS threatening to execute 2 Japanese hostages.
Right. Yeah.
With the deadline. I mean, and they're all interconnected.
Right.
Because Saudi Arabia borders Yemen.
Mm-hmm.
Saudi Arabia was one of our biggest allies in the fight against ISIS, the fight against terrorism. And Yemen was where we staged most of our capabilities to fight this AQAP, Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula threat. And AQAP is the group that attacked Paris.
But starting with Yemen, because I feel like the Yemen thing goes back so far,
it does.
To 2012 in the Arab Spring, when Yemen president was Ali Abdullah Saleh stepped down, and now his then vice president is of course now president. But they say that there's an estimated 10 million Yemenis that don't have enough food to eat. And then there's approximately 850,000 acutely malnourished children. And it's like, this is what they've been dealing with. And what we're seeing is frustration from the Houthi rebels in the southern part of Yemen, who are, in conflict with the administration and, the people in power in Yemen. And, last week they stormed the Yemeni presidential palace. And just recently, the prime minister of Yemen has resigned, as well as the president of Yemen has resigned, which, really, do they have any other choice?
Yeah.
Just from some of the pictures that we've seen out of Yemen,
Yeah.
it looks like it's really rough over there right now,
Well,
and it's only getting worse.
What's really concerning is the U.S. has a major embassy in Yemen.
Right.
They've started evacuating personnel, non-essential personnel. But since Yemen was the staging ground for a lot of these operations against ISIS and against Al-Qaeda, this is really going to hurt us.
Right.
The State Department released a statement yesterday saying that the embassy will remain open with a reduced staff, but I can't imagine them being able to get much done.
Well, so I believe that the United States right now is facing issues that are kind of their own making. So, when Ali Abdullah Saleh stepped down in 2012, like we said, his vice president ended up taking over. His name is, the president now, Abd Rabu Mansour Hadi. He took over, and the U.S. backed him. The U.S. said that he was going to be, their partner in the region, and we were all for him.
Well,
and so
just a couple months ago, Obama said Yemen was one of our greatest allies.
Exactly, he
in
did.
the fight against terrorism.
He did. And so now, where does that leave us?
Exactly.
Yemen doesn't have a prime minister. Yemen doesn't have a president. The parliament is meeting on Sunday, I believe, to accept the president's resignation. They can either accept or reject it. If they reject it, then he's still president. So he's still there, and we still have this instability, because if he's still president, then the Houthi rebels are, not going to be happy with that, which only leaves us in a worse situation.
There are U.S. hostages being held in Yemen. There was recently a Special Forces rescue attempt in Yemen that failed. So it places the U.S. in a very precarious situation. It's reminiscent of the U.S. evacuation of the embassy in Libya, which happened in the dark of night. U.S. had to pull all of its forces out of Libya.
Right.
So now we have nothing in Libya. We have no eyes and ears. And I agree with you that that this may be a product of U.S. intervention, but this is really dangerous, because this is a vital part of the world where we need eyes and ears.
It is, and the problem is Yemen is just a powder keg, actually. Because they have this government that's disintegrating, or which has disintegrated, and they're on the verge of a possible civil war or another one. Their economy is collapsing. Oil prices are low, which doesn't help them at all. Their people are hungry, so it's a huge mess, and there is no way that we have a band-aid to put on this, because even if we get someone, if President Hadi decides to resign, and we do find someone, or the Yemeni people do find someone to replace him, how is he not going to be worse than the last person? And this is, of course, the problem that's always been a problem in the Middle East.
My Middle East politics professor said that these tribal struggles and these power struggles in the Middle East are the product of the white paper and the artificial boundaries that were imposed on these countries following World War I, that set up the nations that we have in the Middle East today.
Right.
And the problem is they were set up by white people in London and in the U.S.
Right.
And they were not reflective of social, ethnic ties. They kind of lump people together.
Things like that never are, though. When we try to create transition governments, which the U.S. does all the time, you have someone from the State Department creating these briefs that may have lived in Syria or Yemen or wherever for a couple of months
and then went into exile.
Exactly, and have no idea what what kind of cultural values or anything like that these people hold, because you don't know them, you don't know who they are, and we are not experts on how to run every single government.
No.
So, but it's interesting to see what will happen in the next few days.
I have to imagine that the embassy is burning classified documents as we speak and trying to get all of their spies protected. The people that have helped the Americans in Yemen, I'm sure that they are desperately trying to protect those people. And
well, it'll be something to watch. Excuse me, in the coming weeks, because hopefully we learned our lesson from Libya, and they evacuate the embassy there as they should, and so that no one gets hurt.
We have 2 warships off the coast of Yemen right now, ready to evacuate embassy personnel, but there are several thousand Yemeni Americans and students and people with U.S. passports who are still in Yemen and who may be in danger.
Right. That's always an issue, though, with something like this. It is. It's always
and without an embassy, it's very hard for the U.S. to help those people. So hopefully they'll get home safe.
Well, we'll see what happens in the following weeks.
Another flashpoint is just to the south of Yemen, Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah. That's right. King Abdullah died. May he rest in peace. 90-year-old King Abdullah, and the new king of Saudi Arabia is King Salman.
He was the defense minister. He is 79 years old. They picked a young one.
79 years young with possibly dementia. But who knows? Who knows the interworking of royal families? They keep a tight knit on things.
Well, one interesting thing that I read about Saudi Arabia is that people have strong feelings on Saudi Arabia.
Yes, that's
because of its prohibition on women driving, strict Islamic strict Sharia law. But the royal family is actually much more liberal than the general population, than the average Saudi citizen.
Right.
So the royal family has been acting as a kind of a liberating force there, slowly adopting reforms. But who knows what's going to happen with a new leader?
That would be a very slow process, because it is, they have journalists and activists jailed right now.
And they're flogging them?
Yes. Public beheadings, things like that. So that's a very slow process. It said that the new king has dementia. That's what's said. That's not verified.
And so this is seen as a transitional leader, someone who will not be in power very long. They're already negotiating behind the scenes. Princes are fighting who will ultimately be the leading figure in Saudi Arabia.
Well, he is the last. Well, he's the second to the last son of the 7 sons of the House of Saud.
But now the grandsons are really in a power struggle.
But I think they should calm down, because they are old. Who knows how long they'll live? People with money tend to live a while.
Yes.
His brother was 90, so and the next brother is around 69 or so. And I doubt that the king now will skip over his brother for one of his sons, for one of the grandsons. But, who knows? Who knows what will happen? This is another interesting story to see what happens, happens in Saudi Arabia and how the U.S. deals with it. I think the problem for the U.S. is that Saudi Arabia has always been, since the creation of the House of Saud, it's always been very important geopolitically for the U.S.
Absolutely.
So they get away with these human rights abuses like
it's
nothing else.
It's seen as our number one ally in the Islamic world.
And that's crazy, because we talk about Cuba. We're opening
Yes.
up relations with Cuba. Cuba is still on the U.S.'s list of countries that sponsor
terrorism.
international terrorism. I mean, hey.
Yeah.
I mean, who do who's worse?
Yes.
So,
Yeah, of
if
course.
you when you think about it, so I mean, they're doing public beheadings and things like that in Saudi Arabia. So that's kind of bad. It's a lot.
And
It's really bad.
one reason my sister's boyfriend lived in Saudi Arabia as a child for 10 years, and he really dislikes the government in Saudi Arabia,
Right.
specifically because the way it treats immigrants. Their guest worker program, basically, immigrants there have no rights.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are basically indentured servants, or a step. It's a very slippery slope with the word slavery, but they're considered to be just above that.
Oh wow, I would assume that would be a very slippery slope.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So we've discussed most of the major stories that we have for this week. We want to thank you for listening and tuning in. We hope you'll listen every week.
Yeah, guys, continue to listen, continue to share, Dateline's Twitter page, Facebook page, all of that good stuff. And send in any suggestions, of any things that
Yes.
you want us to talk about.
Any questions or comments can be sent to dateline.editor@yahoo.com. And we welcome all comments, all suggestions.
Yeah. So, hey, I enjoy the semester. Enjoy the beginning, because in about 40 days or so, we'll all be stressed. So enjoy this time. And we hope you'll be listening next week.